Most businesses are still doing access control like it's 2005, a keypad with a code that everyone knows, a fob that gets lost, and a camera so bad you couldn't identify anyone even if you tried. UniFi Access isn't new. FaceID, NFC, TouchPass, guest pins. If you've been around Access for a little while, you already know how this works. The G2 Reader Pro has all of this already and a camera built in. But what Ubiquiti have done here is ask what happens if you put a proper camera in it. 12 megapixels, 1/1.6 inch sensor, the same class you'd find in a dedicated security camera, not just a reader. And it also has a dedicated package camera, which no previous reader has had up until now. Some of the specs of this: it's a 220mm solid aluminium build, IP55 weatherproofing with IK07 tamper resistance, PoE plus requirements, 12 megapixel camera as I mentioned, and 8 megapixel dedicated package camera, and you get the best of both worlds where this device can appear in Access and it can appear in Protect. This is now installed and it says download UniFi Protect to get it installed and get it adopted. So we should see this pop up just here, and there we go. You can probably see me on my camera at the top there, but you can see we have the device found and we click add. And then this is obviously going to go off and update and do everything that it needs to do, but that's now adopted into the app. Let's go through some of the scenarios that you may want to be using something like this in. So modern 2026 systems use more than just a keypad touch. They can use your face, they can use your phone. So let's give a couple of those a go. So we'll go into UniFi Access and you'll actually see that we have the right door entry, which is set just there. And what we want to do with this, we go to the settings, we have the entry, and we're giving everything that we're going to be doing with this. So we can use NFC, we can use mobile unlock, we can use face unlock, PIN, QR code, whatever works for your scenario. So what we want to do is go to the users. So what we want to do is go to the settings of the account. We can choose all these different options that we can assign to the user. So we're going to do face photo, and we'll quickly take a photo of my face. There we go. We can use that photo, not the best photo, but we'll use that one and we'll give this a test. So if you wanted to add an NFC card, you could just get that, choose where you want to tap it, and you can tap it and obviously register the NFC card. And then we have license plate and PIN also as well. When you have your Face ID set up, you're able to then just walk up to the camera, look at the camera itself, and it unlocks the door for you, so you're ready to go in. Now, also alongside this, you can also use TouchPass as well. So obviously there's TouchPass, so you can use your phone to tap. I haven't quite set that up just yet, but it's a couple of click buttons. There is a small fee to it, which goes directly to Apple. It isn't a cost from Ubiquiti.
Welcome.
You can see that just in action just there. So we'll take a look at the main device itself. Obviously we have the camera at the top, we have a light, we have the package cam, which we'll look at shortly. But what you've seen obviously is me just looking at the camera and it opening the door. But there are a few other options as well. So we can do pin and lock if we wanted to. So we can just type in a pin, for example. There you go.
Welcome.
That's going to let me in. We also have a directory option. So we can click on here and we can see there's a bunch of people that we're able to contact. Obviously there's only one there at the moment, but we can create something like this. But I'll show you first how we create the directory. Setting up the directory is really easy. So we would go to the interface designer and we would select the side door that we're using at the moment. We have the directory and we can see what the caller group is. So to create this, we would go to create new, create a directory name, which we'll just call it test building. If there's any dial numbers, so that's optional. We want the UA viewer to have that on, and we want the people to be selected. We want myself, the test user, InsideWire. So we have those and we can just click create. There we go. We have the test building built up here. And you can obviously add a call group or dial number if that's what you want to set up. If you want it to obviously call the intercom viewer, you can set that up through the doorbell call. And the interface is also right here as well. So we can change a logo to create a company logo if that's what you want. You can call it. So I've called it SideGate. We can put the time and weather in the bar if we want, but we can obviously take them off if we want to. That's not a problem. And then we have the different options that we can do. So mobile unlock, TouchPass, NFC, PIN, QR code, face unlocks. And when you ring them, you can see, there you go, call coming in from the side door. We can go and open that. So there we go. You can see that's then come through and we can talk to that person directly. And we can then just unlock the door if we need to.
Welcome.
What happens when we have a visitor? So to create visitors within this, we would go to something like visitor, create a new visitor code. So we're going to call this, you can put a reason, we'll just put other for now. You can put in an email. You can put in an email address if you want, and then the person to visit. You can select someone. So I'm going to select myself, and then we can say it's a one-time visit or reoccurring visit and which locations we want. So we just want them to get access to the side door, so we can save that. And for this one, I'm just going to choose a QR code, and I'm going to click create here so we can test the QR code functionality. So I'm going to click send, and we can do it by SMS. So we just click send just there, and I can show you that has also come through right there. You can add that to your Apple Wallet, or you can add it to a Google Wallet, entirely up to you. So we can just click the link, and there we go. That's the TouchPass that's come through, and then we can just click add. So now when we go close to the door, we'll just quickly test this to make sure this works. So we have the visitor pass, we have it right here. If we go to here, we need to click scan QR code, because obviously it needs to know that it's there, and you can pop it underneath because it uses the under camera.
Welcome.
And there we go. That's it. It works. It allows me in. It scans from the bottom, and just like that, the visitor can get into the building and then go where they need to go. So let's take a look at the image quality. So let's take a look at day and night. So first we'll start off with the car like I normally do. So we can see it's picked up the car at the back with a detection. I do have some of these enabled. So the path, which you can see the path that the car takes. And this is obviously recording in high quality or playing back in high quality. You can see it's picked up the number plate, and that is a relatively clear image. I'm going to do an audio test a little bit later in the video, so you can see that there. You can see me entering the frame now as I walk towards the camera, and you can see the path it's going to take. You can see it's going to pick up my face in just a second, and I do an audio test, which again you can hear later on in this video. So this is me walking in from the back, and you'll see the package just appear down here. When we click on the bottom camera, there we go, you can see that appearing just there. So we can see that the package cam is quite clear. Yes, I know my paving needs a bit of a clean, but you can see the package is quite clear in the camera itself. Let's move to the nighttime footage. So you'll see the flashing IR lights because I'm recording from the camera, and you'll see that in one of the corners of the video, but this does a fairly good job of picking me up, and as soon as the light comes on, it picks up my face up to a 90% accuracy. So it does relatively well just there. In terms of driving onto the drive, well, I'm about 20 odd meters away, so it's pretty far, and it's not really going to pick too much up at this point. But as I get a little bit closer, that license plate becomes a little bit more readable in terms of what's there, and then the color night vision kicks in, so the light pops on. And there we go, we can read that quite clearly. So overall, it does a relatively good job. Now, there was one thing I was curious of, which was testing the Face ID at nighttime. So let's take a look at how that worked. As you can probably tell by the lack of visibility of me, that it's quite dark in this area. And I want to see how well this works at night with me walking up to the camera. So I'm just going to flip this around, and you should see the camera popping up now. And this is just the Face ID setup. So I'm standing in front of the camera. And yeah, it works.
Welcome.
It did take a few seconds longer than it normally would, but you can see how well it's lit my face up, and it works. There's a couple of different settings worth highlighting within here. So we can scroll down and we see everything like we would before in terms of the motion detection. But with the recording quality, there's two different options. So there's a wide ratio, which is a 3x4, 12 megapixel, 20 frames per second. Or if you want a higher frame rate, you can choose a 9x16, 8 megapixel, 30 frames per second. So the image will obviously reduce in terms of the width that it has. So if we have a quick look, you can see how wide this is from here. And then if we change the settings and went to a high frame rate, the camera needs to restart for that to apply. So we'll just wait for that to happen. So we go from something like this, which is a slightly wider frame, to something like this, which is a bit more of a slim profile. So it really depends on what kind of setup you need and where you're set up, whether you need that slightly wider view or you want the slightly higher frame rate. So you have a couple of different options there. The other thing within the settings is we have a couple of display features. So we have a welcome flashlight. We have auto turn off display when inactive. So if you want it on all the time, you can do. And we also have an auto display brightness. Now you can choose to set this permanently. Now, depending on where you are, if you're inside an office, okay, maybe, but if it's something that's being used externally, then obviously having day and night, you probably wouldn't want the full brightness during the nighttime. Let's do a quick side-by-side comparison of the G6 Entry and the G6 Pro Entry and what the differences are between the two and possibly why you would choose one over the other. Obviously, the big difference is going to be the display and the directory between them. As you can see, that's highlighted there. But in terms of the camera, we have a slightly better camera in terms of a 12 megapixel option, and then we have an 8 megapixel package cam on both of them. There's $100 difference between them, so $279 versus $379. So it really comes down to those needs of what you have. Do you need the directory for visitors and tenants, or do you need the touchscreen display for other reasons. So as I mentioned, it comes down to your use case and scenario depending on what you need. However, let's take a look at the differences between them in terms of image quality in both the day and night, and we can do a comparison. This is an audio test from 1.5 meters away. This is an audio test from 1.5 meters away. This is an audio test from 5 meters away. This is an audio test from 5 meters away. And this is an audio test from 7 meters. And this is an audio test from 7 meters away. Now, one question I'm sure a lot of you are going to be asking is the fact that, well, can I use this as a standard doorbell? And the fact is, yes, you can adopt it into Protect if you wish to do so, and you don't need access. However, the additional features, just like the G6 Entry, won't work. So the things like the NFC reader, the pin, the directory, none of those will work unless you have it plugged into a hub. So the bottom line, residential use is possible, but it's not really the point of this device. Yes, I have actually tested this in a residential setting, but it's supposed to give you the illusion that you are testing this on a building. If you want to see a full video setup in terms of the wiring and how to work through Access step by step, let me know and I'll put together a guide down in the comments below. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know if there's anything specific that you want to see in future videos on this. The links to the products are down in the description below as well. For now, this is InsideWire, and I'll see you in the next one.